Alright, so today let's work on forms. It's F-O-R-M-S. Forms. You guys have probably learned about these in your math classes, but now let's learn how to actually draw them with a bit more accuracy. I want to start off with something simple and do a sphere. English class, but still want to spell it right. There we go, sphere. So, to get a sphere, it actually starts with a circle. And a good way to practice circles, start off with 3 arbitrarily drawn dots. 1, 2, 3. Those 3 dots would make a triangle if you were to connect it. But what we're going to do instead of making the triangle, instead of that, we're going to be drawing from one dot to the next, to the next, to the next. And then you're going to keep doing this round and around and around and around and around until your hand kind of feels the right path and you'll get a circle out of it. Now, after you get your circle, I like to erase it and do it again, just drawing exactly where the nice circle was. So I'll leave that there and draw another example next to it. 1, 2, 3 arbitrary dots, and then feeling out the circle. Dots, dots, dot. Alright, now what I do is I just kind of erase all of that and look at my erase mark to find the circle. There you have it. Alright, so once you have that, now we'll just work on shading in. I'm going to start by shading kind of on the left and the bottom side. Get a little darker with it. And then shading a little bit lighter. A little darker on the edges. All right. Now, if you want to be really fancy, we can give it an oval shadow, a little elongated. Elongated means that it's just stretched out a little bit. So it's going to be not just a little line there, but it's actually a very stretched out oval. Okay. Next, let's work on another form. Let's do not a box, but a rectangular prism. Now you can use this for any kind of box as long as the box is rectangularly shaped. Rectangular, R-E-C-T-A-N-G-U-L-A-R, prism, P-R-I-S-M. Now for a rectangular prism, there's about 100 ways to do this. I'm going to teach you a couple. One, you can start with a square or a different shaped rectangle and then draw another square overlapping it. What you do now is very simply connect the corners. That corner to there, this corner to there, this corner to there, and this corner to there, each to their corresponding corner. And that's one way to draw a rectangular prism. If you want, what you can do is, I'll draw it again really quickly. you can skip one of the parts and just not draw the entire rectangle the second time you draw it. And with this one, connect corresponding corners and nothing over there. This way you've got a more solid box, solid prism, and then pick 3 different values to shade it. I usually pick the dark side to be pretty heavy, and then a medium side, a little bit lighter, and I'll leave the top side a value of white, so very bright. So we're going to draw 3 lines, 2, 3, 3 horizontal lines, so 3 vertical, 3 horizontal, and then connect through the middles of those. There, 1, 2, 3, and then here and here. So you've actually created right in the middle. That one's tricky, I know. Take some practice. Check this out with 3 horizontal and 3 vertical, and then 3 diagonal. What you have when you're done, you shade in these 2 triangles, then you lightly shade in these 2. You erase everything else around it. Just a little bit more advanced way to get to the same thing. You have to do more erasing this way. It's not as easy as freehanding it, but it can be more precise, especially if you are doing this in an older math class or more precise drawing. Third way to draw a rectangular prism, or I guess fourth really, is to draw one line here vertically, then a short vertical line to the left and a short vertical line to the right. This is if you are looking at a rectangular prism, like say the side of a building from the corner. You would only see 2 sides, even though your mind thinks that it's a full box that would have another 4 faces. And for this one, it's kind of fun to add in another elongated shadow, nice and light. Alright, so another form that we can learn about today is a cone, C-O-N-E. And what we will do for this one, we will start off actually with a rectangle. Let's make this a long rectangle. One side there. You don't have to get your corners perfect on this one because we're only sketching it out. And we have an eraser, and so we can go back and erase things. So we're going to start out with just a rectangle that's long ways, so a little bit more lengthy horizontally. And from here I want to find the midpoint of each side. So I'm going to assume the midpoint of this side is about right here, and here down there. The midpoint of this line is about there, and the midpoint of this line is about right there. Now, just like we'd done with the triangle circle up before, we're going to kind of try to make the oval hit each one of these points and round out each side, so it's not like a big diamond but an oval. This is the trickiest part. It takes time for your hand to get used to this, so you gotta practice. It's muscle memory. Once you start practicing and get it down, you'll be able to knock this out pretty quick. So that's actually going to be the top of my cone. I'm going to erase the other marks. So that I just have my oval. Alright, now with just my oval, last step, well, second to last step is deciding how long you want your cone to be. It can be very short, it can be very tall. I'm going to go with something right in the middle, adding my point there. Now if you have an extra piece of paper, you can use this to guide your line. I'm going to draw from this corner of that oval, not anywhere else but that corner, to that point. I'm going to do the same on the other side to that point way over there. And if you got this curve right, it shouldn't be going over this line we draw. Like that. You can go back and clean it up a little bit if you need to. And for value, I like to go ahead and pick one side to be dark, the other side to be light. So it'll be very dark on this side, shading nice and neatly. The point of this, you have to kind of turn which way you're shading so that you always return to this point as you're going down, even as you get onto the other side of the cone. And then I like to throw in a little shadow. Now the shadows are the same shape, just elongated. That means stretched out. So I'm going to draw this shadow. And then it has a curved end to it. And then just fill it in nice and neatly. One cool trick is you can actually go past your outline for your shadow to get a nice even looking shadow that's not too sketchy, and then come back and erase the parts of the shadow that went outside of the lines. Lastly, let's do a pyramid. P-Y-R-A-M-I-D. Pyramid. And what we're going to do is just a simple little square-based pyramid. But to do that, we're going to draw two diagonal lines going that way, and then two diagonal lines going the opposite way, crossing over. That creates our base, and we can erase any lines outside of this base shape right there. Next, we decide how tall our pyramid is going to be, just like we did with our cone. I'm going to make this one going all the way up to here. And now what I need to do is connect corners. So once again, I use an extra piece of paper, and I connect this corner, and that one to here. Okay. Then I can shade in one side. And I'm going to erase this other little line. I don't want to see that one.